6 months before my mother died, she was giving away all of her earthly goods. And we were visiting for the weekend. And one morning, Mom and I were in the kitchen by ourselves. And she said, Michael, I have something to give you. And she pulls out this suitcase. And immediately I knew who it was. On the side of the suitcase it said, Happiness is a ventriloquist little friend. And I knew it was Lennie. My mother had been a ventriloquist when I was in elementary school and middle school. She had worked the vacation Bible school, old folks home, Sunday school circuit. And my father had bought her a very expensive ventriloquist, which she named Lennie. And Lennie was custom made, handmade, and he had real human hair and real human teeth. Well, I was so excited. We got home, and when school started, I brought Lennie to school. And I used to run an open mic lunch. And I brought him out and showed the kids, and he was quite the hit. Everyone was creeped out by his human teeth. Well, about a month or so later, I took him to an open mic at a bar called the Shamrock Inn. Now, this bar was a music open night. Had a music open night, and I had done some stand-up there, and they did not like me. Once I had a woman heckle me for the entire 5 minutes. But I knew I would have Lennie, and Lennie can take care of himself. Well, it went well. I don't know if they were cowed or just horrified by Lennie, but I did pretty well, and so I went for one more. My friend was running a charity gig. There were 4 bands, and I was going to be the MC to come on between each band and just talk. And I thought, I'll bring Lennie. And so I did. Before the last band came up, I picked up Lennie, and on we come. Now, it's not an act. I'm not a ventriloquist. I don't have an act. We just chatted. And I was so excited. Everyone, all of my friends had heard about Lennie. But as soon as I got up there, within a minute, I could feel an electric current run through the crowd. And the kids were running up with their phones, taking pictures and videos. I had a crowd at the front. I was so excited. Well, after about 4 or 5 minutes, I said, Lennie, I think it's time for you to go back into your suitcase. I'm afraid you might say something inappropriate, and you know how Mother is. Well, I take Lennie backstage, and as I'm putting him in his suitcase, I said, Lennie, I think we have a future. And then I go out into the crowd, and immediately one of my friends runs up to me and says, Michael, did you mean that? I said, what are you talking about? He goes, Michael, did you mean that? I said, mean what? And he pulls out his phone and he shoves it in my face. Now, I want you to remember that I am not a ventriloquist. Real ventriloquists know that when you put your doll on stage, you have to have him seated on something so you can have your left hand free to talk. Well, I didn't. I had Lennie on my left hand. And as I was talking, I was nervously twitching, and my thumb was gesticulating all over the place, unbeknownst to me. And it had come up between Lennie's legs. Well, it looked to the crowd as if Lennie was exposing himself. vigorously. I don't know if I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned that this was a charity gig for a children's summer camp. I was never invited back. But I had hoped and prayed that my mother would go to the grave never hearing about this. Alas, that was not to be. But that's a story for another time. Thank you.